Hi, this is Paulette from the Magical Needle, and today this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to make an extra long hot pad, which is perfect for your casserole dishes. I did add an extra piece of fabric, and what this piece is, it's an extra piece so you could put a plate down or a bowl down if you're scooping food out, or it could just hold another smaller hot dish. So this part right here, the main casserole hot pad, is 13 wide by 18 long, and this additional piece is 9 wide and 13 long. So instead of doing a traditional binding, I'm actually making a border, and that is going to turn into the binding. So I cut different pieces of scrap fabric, different sizes. I sewed them together. So the width is around 1 3/4. So I'm using cotton batting. This is only one layer. I'm making it wider. I'm going to cut another piece too for the back side of the fabric. But we're just going to quilt this. So I'm using this called a hair marker. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and just make some quilting lines. Now I'm not going to be quilting the actual edge, the border that's going to be the batting. Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm just, going to just go ahead and quilt some lines just on the inside. Once again, I'm just quilting the inside, and I am not quilting this at all. And also, it's really important to use cotton thread for your bobbin and cotton thread for the top, for the quilting, okay? And then for the orange piece over here, I kind of just did a little design. But you could do diagonals. You could do whatever you want to do. So what I decided to do is, because I don't like the batting, all the bulk over here, so I just cut the batting off all along the edge. Okay? See how good that looks? Now, this will give it a wider binding look, but if you don't want the wider binding look, you could just go ahead and you could cut this actually thinner if you want. Like maybe you could even make it, like take another 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch off, and that will give you a thinner binding look. So this is the back side, and what I did was I just sewed around the edge, but I made sure to leave a space. Oops. See that? So this way, if later I want to cut off the batting, when I'm about to lay the pieces together to sew, it'll just be easier. Now I'm going to cut all along this edge. This is going to be lined up. When I did cut the backing, I did make it a little bigger just so I have a little wiggle room. I usually like to do that. So as you can see, I already cut this part. So now I'm going to cut this part all the way around. Now, this is your choice. So now we have only, remember, one layer of that cotton batting, because remember, we cut all along here. So this batting that you see is actually from the back. So it's your choice. We could either, once we're done trimming around, see, then you're going to go back and you're going to cut all the way along here. So there won't be any batting at all. It's your choice if you want to do it. If you have one layer, it may give it a nice like quilted look at the edge, but it will be a little bulkier and a little thicker. Since this is for me, and I'm just gonna cut that piece off because it's just for me. But this will make a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving gift, holiday gift, because what's so great about this is you're going to have one side that could be your casserole or pan with food, and the other side could be, let's say you could have gravy here, and then you could have the turkey here, and it's just one big mat. So what I decided to do is just cut like 1/4 of an inch off. So I still have that little bit of bulk for like the binding look. So I cut just like 1/4 of an inch off. So it still has some bulk with the batting. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use my binding clips, and I'm going to bind. I'm going to use it to, the binding clips, excuse me, to put clips all the way around. We're going to leave an opening. That's going to be our turn point. And then we're also going to clip these edges so we don't have all the bulk. And then we're going to turn it inside out. And once it's inside out, we'll flatten it, iron flat. And then we are going to sew in the ditch all along here. And then close this up. Okay, so I sewed 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and I left an opening here. And then I also clipped the corners. Now, I think if I make this again, I think I'm definitely just going to use one layer of batting. I think it's just easier. And it's cotton batting. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It was easier to sew with one layer. But it's up to you. If you want to use two, it's completely your choice. So this is the last part. And what I did was I folded the opening closed. So I folded it in, and then I sewed all around the edge. Now, you don't have to do that. You could just hand sew the opening. And then I also sewed all along in the ditch. Now, I would probably recommend, if I'm going to do this again, I would actually just sew in the ditch first and then sew the opening close. It just didn't make it as, it won't make it as bulky as it is in the corners. But as you can see, it has a nice look to it. Now, once again, you don't have to use any batting over here at all if you don't want to. Or you don't even have to do it this method. You could just do regular quilt binding and just sew it on that way. It's whatever your choice. And I hope this inspires you to create something magical.